Game being played at the Red Bull Arena. It means that Germany win Group A in style. We're welcoming Mario Melchiot in to talk more about what we've seen today. I will be starting with you, though, Ali. That's a lot more convincing from Germany tonight.
Well, I think it's fair to say that that's the one game in this whole World Cup qualifying cycle in which Germany have looked convincing, have looked like Germany. It was a dominant performance, and to Casey's point, they needed the early goal to settle whatever discomfort or whatever nerves may have been coming into this match. And what we saw is a team in full flow. We saw players getting themselves in good positions, good players finding spaces, combination, give and goes, one-touch passing, quality of passing in the final third, quality of movement. Florian Wirtz, yes, Florian Wirtz, let me tell you. He can be a difference maker, Florian Wirtz, and he was today. And you see him play today and you go, where has that been? And it hasn't been with Liverpool, but it certainly was today with Germany. And then you have to mention Big Nick Woltemade, who continues to score goals, continues to find himself in really good positions. The hold-up play was also very good. The link-up play through Woltemade was really good. Leroy Sané scoring goals. Serge Gnabry scoring goals. They're keeping a shutout. Germany, here we go. If you didn't think this team was a favorite going into the World Cup, here we go, Germany. Maybe not.
Nick Woltemade, he didn't want to talk about Isak the other day, but this is a Newcastle striker.
Oh, I tell you what, Big Nick, I mean, he certainly has been, dare I say, the standout player for Germany, albeit today's game apart and underwhelming Germany at that. But Woltemade playing as that out-and-out number 9, that big target man, somehow everybody seems to lose track of. That's beyond me. But in and around the box, give him time, give him space, he finds the back of the net. And that first goal was desperately needed for Germany. And while, yes, you look back on the result and 6-0 and it's easy, and in fact it was, keep in mind how poor Germany had been coming into this. Keep in mind that the fans have not really taken it to this side. Their performances, you're at home, all to play for on the back of a very disappointing result of a few days ago. That early goal just settles things down and allows Germany to take this game by the scruff of the neck. But Woltemade, I think, rightly lauded for his performances, for the way he leads the line, his tracking back and defending. He certainly has been that all-encompassing target man that Germany has needed for quite some time.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Casey, because obviously they were up against the Slovakia side who beat them at the beginning of qualifying, who would have qualified themselves today if they'd have won this game. And you talked about that Woltemade goal settling those early nerves.
Yeah, I mean, they started the match really well. I mean, they were in command, but they were just missing that goal. And once the goal came, yeah, there was one really nice save for Germany where Slovakia had an opportunity to equalize. But after that, Germany just took over. And I think the nerves settled. They were still playing really well. I mean, where was this Germany throughout all of qualifying, which I'm sure everybody wants to know. But when there is the pressure on, Germany rose to the occasion and made it comfortable to make sure it wasn't a catastrophe in having to go into the playoff.
Where has this been from Germany? We don't even have to talk about where has this been in the previous games ahead of the matches that they just played. Where was this against Luxembourg?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right.
And you don't have to go all that far to find a disappointing performance from Germany. And everywhere you look, it's kind of performances that you go, bro, this team is no good. When we talk about the high standards that you expect from Germany, you see them today and you go, wait a minute, because there's a potential that Jamal Musiala will come back. And there is a potential that this team will actually be stronger and will be better. And then you kind of think, maybe they're not as far off as we thought, though I still think that there's a lot of work to do if this team is going to be considered to be among the favorites going into the World Cup.
Were you impressed by them today, Mario?
Yeah, I think one of the key things what Nagelsmann said, he was a little bit, he felt the nerve in the group because they had to think about the qualification. And Germany normally, I hear the guys talk, of course, but on this side of the world, we always see them as one of those countries that always does well to get themselves through, over the line kind of. And it looks very comfortable the way they do it. So the way they did it like today, it looked, to me it looked very impressive. And the guys that you mentioned, Woltemade, especially when the cross came in. That must be a hard man to stop when the ball gets crossed to him. And then, like the young boys come up, but Leipzig, oh my God, they got too many stars in that team. Too many young stars coming through there. I don't know how they're doing it, but I saw some players coming through. But one impressed me was Sané. The last 20 minutes before the end, I saw him taking a sprint back for like maybe 20 to 30 yards. And I was like, is this a sign that maybe someone told him, like, hey, you gotta work hard?
You know it has to be painful when you go to the Dutch guy and he has to talk about how well Germany played.
No, and also the benchmark to Sané is
it was like, really? I got to talk about this? I was having so much fun when they were struggling, and now I got to come in here and talk about how great they played.
But to your point,
Well done,
Kay,
Mario.
to your point, Kay, yes.
I know.
That Mario is saying the benchmark for a successful performance by Leroy Sané is he worked hard.
He ran back 20 yards.
He ran back 20 yards. But actually, it's a point well taken because Leroy Sané doesn't always run those 20 yards. And so, if we're going to judge Leroy Sané on today's performance and today's performance alone, then man, what a player he is for Germany. The issue is as we know, his history is well known by everybody. This version of Leroy Sané doesn't always show up.
Florian Wirtz, I thought, was outstanding. And the player, remember Leverkusen, and the player Liverpool have been yearning for him to be, comes into this game and just dictates so much about Germany's creative play, those passes from midfield, they run from the left-hand side. I thought this is Florian Wirtz at his comfortable best. And we've spoken about this. A lot of times when you're away, when you're with your club and you're struggling, international duty is such a welcome departure that you can go and be among players that you know and you feel a whole lot more relaxed. But now, as I mentioned, as far as this game goes, I'm not sure exactly how relaxed everybody could be. But once they get the opening goal and everybody just seems to settle down, I thought Florian Wirtz was at times unplayable, certainly unreadable in terms of his passing from whether it's deep or getting on the ball. That's the Florian Wirtz that everybody has been yearning for.
Yeah, so what can you take from that, given what we're seeing with Liverpool and how it's been tougher for him, and that this is what we're seeing with Germany?
Well, first of all, just look at what position he was playing today. That's not where he's been playing for Liverpool. They're having in this sort of hybrid position in which he's actually supposed to help the midfield, but he's really joining in the attack as well, and he's neither here nor there. Where he was playing today is on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, coming from the left, and then allowing him to go find the game. If he wants to come off the line, so be it. If he wants to stay in the line, so be it. Freedom to then make decisions and feel the game and allow the game to come to him. That ball that he plays to Leroy Sané, if he's playing for Liverpool, I don't know whether he plays that ball or not.
I don't know if he's not in the position to play that.
Well, that's
so
fair enough.
Yeah.
But even if he's in the position, there's so much thinking going on right now for Florian Wirtz with Liverpool that maybe he just settles with the sideways pass, the 10-yard pass that it was right here, instead of the 35-yard pass that breaks everything open. You see Florian Wirtz today, and he's just skipping around the field, and it's just like he's playing a game at a completely different level than everybody else, but he is enjoying himself as if he were in the backyard. That's not the feeling that we get from him when he's playing with Liverpool. A whole lot more tension built up in his performances with Liverpool than what we saw today with Germany in a game that they needed to win in order to go to the World Cup. It would seem like those pressures would be the same, but obviously the lack of productivity or the lack of performance with Liverpool is weighing heavy on him, and it affects, as pressure does, everybody. Nobody is in any way can just do away with pressure magically. You do it through performances. He did it today with Germany. Then the question becomes, if you're a Liverpool fan, Florian, can you please carry that momentum onto the weekend with us?
Now, a number of those German internationals will be back in action once domestic football returns in the Bundesliga. You can catch all of these games, as you can every single week throughout the season, on ESPN+.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know.
They will be over this side of the world in 2026 playing in the World Cup. But Mario, what are the nation's realistic expectations for their side next year?
I mean, look, we always want to. One of the key things, and also our the things that go against us, is that we want to play beautiful football. And sometimes I say, guys, come on, We are qualifying. We are a small nation because sometimes we forget that. You know, when nations are small, they always speak up and make them feel bigger. So we got 17 million going to 18. But the thing with us is sometimes we are very talented because for a small country, I think we still manage to get great talents through it. But yeah, we got qualified for it. It's happy the way they did it, and it looked really good. But we just have to make sure that we get the job done and making sure that if you say, yeah, I would go like, get us out of the group, and then after that, we can try to do something special.
When you do
But
look
don't
at the
start
odds,
straight away
Mario,
going like, oh, we're going to win this.
it's interesting when you do look at the odds, they're kind of level with Germany, and if you to like break down the odds, they'd have them at the quarter-final stage. Does that sound achievable to you?
The quarterfinal?
Yeah.
Now, I think Germany normally does much better than us, you understand, if you look at over the journey what Germany achieves. But I still think like we have the talent. If we can do it as a team, we can do a lot of good things because all of our players, or most of the players, are playing abroad in big competitions. So if you put them together and they're performing really well abroad, so we can definitely, you know, try to create a big upset.
Let me give you one more stat that I saw today, Mario. You say that they're playing abroad, the players. Only Depay and Frankie de Jong from the Dutch starting 11 did not play for a club in the Premier League today. The rest of the team all playing their football in the Premier League.
Yeah, so that's why. But you can see the difference. You know, we talked about like, you guys just talked about Wirtz. We had the same with Xavi. You know, if you look, it's a totally different Xavi than when he plays at Spurs. Why? Because sometimes they come home, the confidence is there, we play a different system, it's not as quick. You know, it's more a tactical game, it's more an understanding game. It's the same like European football, so that's the same with your national team. You don't go as fast as the English want to go during their league time. So I think that's why he felt comfortable, and you could see it also the way he played. And even Malen, because sometimes he doesn't always play for Villa, but his goal, the way he took it really well. The way he took that sprint, they hit him on the break together with Simons, and the way he took that defender out was really smart. And I said like, yeah, you know, as a team, we definitely have players that can compete on the highest level, but now we have to do it all together.
Netherlands or Germany?
Good question, but I just can't get over Mario. Every Dutch player I've ever played with or played against, they're winning the World Cup. Of course they're winning the World Cup. I mean, how could they not win the World Cup? We got players in the Premier League. We're the best. We're the best team ever. Look, I like the idea of Haaland coming into a tournament with Mario's attitude, with kind of thinking, well, maybe, because look, there's no question they have the squad that could go deep and could cause a lot of problems. I think really what it's going to come down to for both Germany and the Netherlands is who clicks at the right time, who gets some guys overperforming, like we talked about Xavi Simons. Is it a guy that shows up for his nation that isn't necessarily showing up week in and week out? Is it same with Germany? Is a Florian Wirtz going to be the player that Liverpool thought they were getting, or the player that we saw today who then just runs the show for Germany? So I think both of them have the potential, if things go the right way, to cause a lot of problems.
Okay, we are continuing the conversation on England manager Thomas Tuchel saying that Jude Bellingham must accept his decisions. He said, I saw that Jude Bellingham was not happy when he came off. I don't want to make more out of it, but I stick to my words. Behaviour is key, and respect towards teammates who come in. Decisions are made, and you have to accept it as a player.
When the World Cup rolls around, when you go deep in the tournament, as England I'm sure would be expected to, you want your difference makers to be available to you. Jude Bellingham is one of those, and one of the more reliable ones. I think you have those conversations with Jude, get him to understand what you're thinking, get him to buy into to how you're going about your business, and you make it work.
How did you see it, Mario? Because obviously it was his first start for England since June. He was subbed off 6 minutes from the end here. England have already qualified. What was your take on it?
My take on it is like, look, Jude is a big player. And I think sometimes, you know, we underestimate the situation where the kid is going through. You understand? He achieved it, he earned it. So I understand his reaction that you can be emotional, you can get carried away. get that. You know, if the coach is not happy with him, yeah, he can say that. But away from that, if we keep on making it big, you understand, we also have to be careful. If you want a player to perform for you, you have to be careful that you don't always pick on him, because the more you pick on him, he's not going to deliver what you want him to deliver. Because what do you want now as a nation? You want all your players to fire well. And Bellingham is definitely one of the key figures, so I don't think they should be too hard on him. I think if there is a situation, and remember, don't let the confidence of a human being underestimate, you know, or disturb you from feeling confident, feeling sure about yourself. Allow the kid to be confident, because that is his strength, and that's why he plays so well for Real Madrid.
What did you think, LA?
What I think has to be made very clear to Jude Bellingham from Thomas Tuchel's perspective is what his role is in this team. And from conversations going into this set of matches, as Jude Bellingham had been called into the national team, Thomas Tuchel was talking about how, well, Kane, Foden, and Bellingham cannot play at the same time. They cannot be on the field at the same time. In saying something like that in a press conference leading up to the matches, you're already telling this guy, I don't know exactly where you fit in. So if I'm Jude Bellingham, I would want that clarity, and I say, and say, okay, what is it that you want me to do? The way it comes across is as if Bellingham is saying, I want to play the number 10, otherwise I'm not happy. That's the way it comes across. I don't think that that's exactly what's happening, and so Thomas Tuchel has to be very clear with Jude Bellingham. Look, this is where I see you with this team, and this is what I think your role is. Accept that role, because that's where I'm going to play you. Not where you want to play, not where you think you should be playing. This is where I think you fit into this structure. Make it very clear. And once you have clarity and you have told the player, and I think all players would agree with this, once a manager has told you what the expectations are and what he thinks you can do on the field for him specifically, then it's up to the player to deliver. And it's up to the player to accommodate that role and understand that he can thrive within that role. And so then the attention shifts onto Jude Bellingham. I think there is too much talking going on in the periphery here, where Thomas Tuchel's in the press conferences and you have Jude Bellingham gesturing and posturing. None of that helps. One talking over here and the other one posturing and gesturing over there. How about you two? You two come together and actually have a conversation, a tactical conversation, and say, this is what I think your role is for this team, and it's going to be your role going into the World Cup. I hope you buy into it. This is the expectation. If you don't, that's on you.
Ale, and what I would like to see is both of those conversations take place away from the cameras.
Over a cup of tea
and then the two of you can then just say, guess what, we can have this conversation, but I'm not going to say this in a press conference, and you don't make those gestures on the pitch, so then we don't have to spend all this time talking about this. You and I can talk about it over here, and nobody else has to know about it, and we can go on and continue from this great run in qualifying and make a run at the World Cup without having all the drama that we know the English press is just waiting to have headlines, to have drama.
Yeah. The amazing aspect to this is, from a Jude Bellingham perspective, I'm amazed at the rhetoric that somehow is being drummed up about him, that he is bad in the dressing room, they knew it at Real Madrid, they knew it at Dortmund. Never mind the successes that he had at both those football clubs. And to Ali's point about sitting down and detailing what your role is, the first thing Carlo Ancelotti did when he signed Jude Bellingham was say, this is how I see you fitting into my team. Even though that role changed during the course of the season, and then as they got deep in the Champions League, he started off as this kind of box-to-box midfielder, certainly arriving late, and then there was a lot of covering for Vinicius Junior second half of the season. He played both those roles wonderfully well because the manager sat down, explained what he wanted out of him, and exactly why, and got the absolute best out of Jude Bellingham. Now we have this kind of these two standing off and a rhetoric that's being drummed up in the press that I don't agree with and I don't think is at all helpful.
None of us, except Kay, English, right? So let me ask the English person on the panel here. When you're thinking of the World Cup and the best version of England, does that include Jude Bellingham?
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
And where do these stories come from? I feel that's why Mario is laughing. Are you laughing that most of these stories are coming from the English press, Mario?
No, look, we all, all lived there. Okay, most of us then, maybe except for Mali, but we lived there, we played there, you understand? So we know exactly how the press works. But I agree with what every individual said. Sometimes when something like this happens, Tuchel knows him better than anybody else. So have that conversation with the player, because you don't want this to linger. This story should not take that long for that becomes the whole big story. Sometimes even like the only why I'm laughing is because every nation has the same problem. In Holland, they make problems for them sometimes not to succeed in tournaments. And I'm asking myself, why are you guys doing that? In England, they do the same. Stop, man. Support your country. Support the team so the players can perform. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
This is Erling Haaland bringing up the somewhat overzealous man marking by Gianluca Mancini. He said Mancini was always marking me. He was touching my butt a lot.
Oh.
At one point, I got tired and yelled at him, "Oi, what are you doing?" But then I said, "Thank you so much for the motivation. Let's flipping have it." Then I scored 2 more.
This goes along. This goes on quite a bit with attacking players.
Yeah.
In my case, there may have been 1 or 2 instances in which the butt grabbing went on to the oil check, and hands went into places that they shouldn't have gone. And
Did it carry on into the players' lounge after?
no, it did not. But I must say, in the immediate aftermath, you're like, what? Did that just? I feel violated. What just happened here? And so it kind of takes you off your game, but then, in some ways, the best reaction that you can have is the reaction that Erling Haaland had. Now, the slight difference between Erling Haaland and myself is that he went on to score goals, whereas perhaps I did not. Look, this has happened over the years so many times to so many players. It is more difficult to do now because VAR and because of the amount of cameras that are actually all over the field. And so you can't quite get away with as much as you did, say, 20 years ago, and as much as some people did 20 years ago. You know who you are.
Now, excuse the pun here, Mario, but did you have this in your arsenal when you were a defender? Was this one of your tactics?
Those are some big hands. Hey, those are some big hands. Those are some big hands.
Let me be nice to you. Let me be nice to you. Look, Kate, look. I will play fair against everybody. But if you leave one for me, I'm definitely going to leave one for you. That's all I'm saying. So I do have to say, if they give you a kick, where they, especially in Italy, I'm not picking on Italy, but Italians sometimes, they leave one for you and they love to say sorry. I played against Inzaghi. He kicks me, he says sorry. He kicks me again, says sorry again. So I said, okay, now it's a friendly game. So I kick him back. He looks at me. I said, sorry. He gets angry. I said, so you can kick me, but I can't kick you back. I said, no, my friend. It's not going to work like that.
Mario, can you show us? Mario, can you show us your hands, please?
Oh, no. Hey, I don't have big hands. My hands are not big. I'm safe on that.
Imagine those hands grabbing your backside. I'm telling you.
Hey, but I got a sharp elbow, Ellie. I got a sharp elbow. That's it. I do have.
Gus Poyet told me a story. When he's playing in Uruguay before he came to Europe. He's playing in Argentina in a Copa Libertadores game. And he said he's going up for a header. I mean, Gus is a big guy, and so he's going up for a header. And he just felt something in his side. And he's like, what is that? The Argentinian defender had a hat pin and was stabbing him when he was going up for the header. So there's some things that go on. Maybe not, but I think I agree with Ollie 100%. With VAR has taken a lot of that stuff out of the game, because what could have been off camera, away from things, you're going to get a big suspension now.
Wow. But you know who never had to deal with that? Goalkeepers. That's all I've got to, that's my entire contribution here.
Yep, you guys kept your hands to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Always.
You
had gloves on?
Yep.
You did.
You got big hands too, Shaq.
It really does.
Dangerous too.
Big hands.
I think that's how we move on. So as you know, the US beat Paraguay 2-1 on Saturday to stretch their unbeaten run to 4 games. There was a little brawl that broke out in second half stoppages. But here's what Mauricio Pochettino had to say speaking about that game.
Play the Gold Cup is not important. No, it's important. No, it's not important. No, it's important. But the problem was the mindset that we already changed here. And until there, how you are going to perform? If you come here and you want holidays, if you come here and say, no, I don't want to put the legs because if I get injured and then I not play in my team. Yeah, but how now we are going to win games? How we are going to convince the people to support us? How we are going to improve in our game? How we are going to put our standard high? That is the problem. Question that were in the past. We need to analyze, the reality, not the things that are, things that are reality. And then, okay, we can talk in this way. But come on, it's about to trust, it's a confidence. When we are right here, we are not amateur. And all the coaches like Costa Rica, like Mexico, that they were suffering, how they were suffering, they are professional. Why don't work? Why doesn't work? Because of the coach out. But sometimes it's not the coach. Okay, but it's the easy thing is to blame the coach. No, the coach. Hey, what is going on in behind the scene? No, Mike?
It was BS, the word they beeped out, in case you were wondering. Probably got that. What do you think? What do you think of what he said there, Casey?
Yeah, I don't mind what he said. But in the end, particularly on the national team side of things, it's really difficult to change the players because you have what you have. It's a lot easier to change the manager and hope that he can get the best out of the players. But take that aside. We spent a lot of time talking about the first 8-9 months under Pochettino. And he couldn't get a reaction from that team. He couldn't figure out how to get results. I'm not sure Uruguay is the marquee result if it happens tomorrow night, but a good performance and a result tomorrow night just continues this momentum.
That is one of the tougher opponents, though,
100%,
Uruguay, to face in this cycle. Would it be?
Well, they made a ton of changes against Mexico. And it was like, oh, here's one of our last opportunities to look at players. I'll be interested to see if Bielsa puts out a side that looks like Uruguay and doesn't look like a squad that he's trying to figure out 18 through 23 come the summer.
If it is a decent squad for Uruguay, would that be a measure of progress to see how they do against them?
Well, I think there's been progress from the United States.
100%,
I think,
100%.
and there's been an improvement. And I'm not quite sure whether I'd go as far as to say that there's been a change in the mindset and that somehow that was brought upon by Mauricio Pochettino, although it's something that he has stressed in every press conference that he has had. The culture, the mindset, this, that, and the other. It seems to be a topic of conversation that surrounds all of his national team call-ups, and so it has to become a talking point because he wants it to become a talking point. The reason, and while I appreciate what Mauricio Pochettino is saying, the reason that in this country anyways, we're looking at the coach and saying the coach, it's because the coach, in this case Mauricio Pochettino, was the highlight of this men's national team when he was deemed to be or designated to be the guy taking over. And because there is a ton of money that went invested into Mauricio Pochettino. And because of all the teams that he has coached around the world, and he comes with this resume, then he becomes a guy that most people in this country are looking at and saying, that guy is going to get us to whatever that next level is. And when that wasn't happening, the natural reaction was, well, we thought this was the guy. What? And all of our players, or most of our players that start in this team are playing in big teams in Europe or are playing consistently in Europe. How come we're not getting the best out of these guys? And so it comes with the territory, and he should know this better than anybody else, given the fact that he has coached the teams that he has coached in his career, that is going to come down to the performances on the field, the results on the field, and if those things don't match the expectations, then the coach is always going to get the attention and the blame.
Well, and Alejandro, they overspent for a manager to get results against teams we don't get results against. But when he came in, we were losing to teams that we always got results against. So not only it was the double. It wasn't the fact that you weren't able. You got paid a bunch of money to come in and beat like the Dutch in the second round of a World Cup. You were now losing to the Panamas. That was not supposed to be the case. You were supposed to take us to the next level, not actually lose to teams that we always beat before.
So the weird thing about Pochettino's statements there, and I take everybody's points about the US progressing, and they have. And Pochettino has to take the credit for that. And quite clearly, he feels the same. But in one sentence, he says, me coming into the US as coach, I've changed the culture, I've changed the mentality, I've changed everything about the team. But if we look at other teams, when they lose, we shouldn't blame the coach. So is the coach responsible? So it's almost as though he's taking credit for successes and good results when they come, but if bad results come, that's not the coach's,
Shaka,
coach's responsibility.
Coaches win and players lose.
Well,
you know this. It's been like this across all time.
He somehow managed to do that in one statement. Don't wait till the next win or the next game. He does that in the same exact statement on the back of one question. Now, again, I take everybody's point. The US continues to progress really nicely, especially what we've seen over the last couple of windows. Building into the World Cup, you couldn't ask for a better time to be peaking. I know we're still, 7 months away or whatever it is, but we've only got one more window in March to go. So you're hitting the heights at just the right time. Ride that, and hopefully that takes you through. But again, a lot of these statements I just find a little confusing.
One more question, Casey.
Yes.
Does Gio start tomorrow?
I don't know, because I don't know exactly what the thought process is. Is it, let's keep going, or is it that there's so few windows to see somebody else? I would love to see a level of consistency, and that's the one thing we have not seen from Pochettino, is any sort of consistency whatsoever. We've also seen a lot of clubs get angry at the U.S. because when he has tried to play a player 2 matches in a row, then the club comes down on him. It's different in qualifying, I guess. Oh, you're playing qualifying game. Of course, you got to play your consistent side. But in friendlies, I guess for some reason, when you only have a handful of games, the national team manager isn't allowed to play his players.
He's not getting minutes in Gladbach. So
yeah, that to me, you would think Gladbach would be thinking, great, keep building that fitness, keep building that form.
Well, Gladbach are in no position to get upset if he plays a second game. He said, well, if you're so concerned about me, then play me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. In my opinion, I think he should play.
Agreed.
Hello and welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We've got Ale, we've got Shaka, we've got Casey, and we've got Mario Melchiot with us as well. All right, got a few questions here, starting with one for Ale.
Oh, all right. Is
Ready?
it about voodoo?
It is not about voodoo.
Okay.
Ale, would you have enjoyed playing in the MLS with a calendar aligned with UEFA League season, with campaigns beginning in late summer and ending in spring, said change set for the 2027 season?
I would have loved it. Would have loved it. For many reasons, but perhaps I think the most important reason for me specifically would have been the national team call-ups. Back in the day in MLS would not stop for international breaks. And so basically I was missing games while I was gone with the national team. And that would put me in a really uncomfortable position with my MLS club and the national team. And I was always stuck in the middle. And when the national team comes calling, you go with the national team. But what happens when you're in the middle of the playoffs in Major League Soccer? And then you have World Cup qualifiers on the other end with Venezuela. And I found myself in that position time and time again, and it's not a good position to be, because I literally remember being seated in the office with the general manager, club president, and the coach. And then on the phone on speaker, you have the national team coordinator, and they're having a back and forth as to what happens with me. You know who doesn't get to make a decision? This guy. I'm stuck in the middle. And how do you leave your MLS team when the showpiece event is the playoff? The defining moment of the season is the playoff. Well, I had to do that myself. And the times that I didn't do that, guess what? The national team call-ups were not nearly as frequent as they would have been otherwise, because the national team coach also says, you weren't coming. So they hold it to you again. They hold it against you regardless. And to me, that was an impossible position to be in.
Happy to see this, Casey?
Very much so. I think it just cleans everything up in so many different levels. So, and I think it's a much, much better time. Take the transfers, that's key. But I think it's a much, much better time for MLS to have the focal point when you're not competing with football, the start of the basketball season, the start of hockey, all that. Have a time right now where it's at the beginning of baseball and go get some focal point there.
But another point to that, Casey, think about this. Right now, MLS is not, they were in their playoffs, right? And momentum in the playoffs was building up.
Yeah.
And they had to stop because of international break. They had to stop in the middle of the playoff. What other league in this country does that? And any other sport, they wouldn't do it. You imagine the NFL stopping play in the middle of the playoffs? No, it just doesn't happen. And so these are the sort of things that if you want to take this next level this step to the next level as a league, these are the sort of things that you have to do. This is not a choice anymore. This is the sort of things that you have to do in order to be taken seriously around the world.
Okay, for Mario, what's the percentage chance that your Oranje can win their first ever World Cup next summer?
Oh, okay. It's been a long time. 1988, we won the the European Cup. But Xhaka, what is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. He's giving me a feeling like, don't even go there. So what I have to tell you, Kate, how much percent I have to give you? Percentage I have to give you? Mm-hmm. That's what you want me to do? A percentage? Stop, Xhaka. No, hey, because he's doing that, Kate, because he's doing that, I'm saying we have, I give us more than a 50%. I give us 55%.
Yes.
What did he say?
That's
More than 50%.
the Dutchman has come out of Mario. Yes. The
55.
confidence is flowing. I love it.
Ali, yes. Come on, man.
55.
Ali, we are based on striving to go after what we can do. I don't care.
Yeah, okay, so it's 55 to win it.
Yes.
55%.
Yep.
Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love you, Mario. You know I love you, Mario. You know I love you, Mario, but
I know, man.
I cannot take you seriously when you say that.
Boy.
Love it.
No, man. Ali, allow me, give me in 1 second then. Let me take the 55%. Let me take it in. Allow me today. Only today, I beg you.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a different day.
It was a big win today, to be fair. He's feeling confident.
Yeah, they were playing against Lithuania, who were defending with Arvydas Sabonis. Anybody?
Shaq.
You know who Arvydas Sabonis is, Shaq?
Sure.
Oh, I know Casey does. Casey does. Basketball player.
Basketball player.
Plays center for the Lithuanian national team.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Great passer of the ball, by the way, as a center.
It was the 20th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago qualifying for their first World Cup in history. Any memories from that night in Bahrain?
Yeah. A lot of memories. That was good. That was a good. I remember the Bahraini started to rip the old stadium up and throw it at well, we trying to be fans who had made the journey to us on the pitch, and we on the sidelines, because I was on the bench for that game. We were, well, at first just kind of all huddled under, because they had the hard plastic kind of benches, so everybody's kind of huddled under there. And then you have to try to time it when the rocks stop flying to run onto the middle of the pitch. But it was so good, because then we were all just in the middle of the pitch and just stayed there for as long as we wanted. So I always remember, and I remember running over to Dwight York and Russell Atterby in particular. I played under 12 national football with Russell and Dwight. So to come all that way, kind of give them the trajectories of our professional careers, and then that being that culminating that journey for us was a special time. It really was.
High point in the career that you had, Shaq, is that
Oh,
the
clearly
number
World
one?
Cup. No question. Yeah. No, that's, yeah. Everything pales in comparison. It's
Wow.
distant second.
Wow.
Playing on the World Cup, first and only ever performance at a World Cup, and we're a part of that. Easily high point.
It's amazing how when you get emotional, Shaq, your voice gets deeper.
Yeah.
And you start speaking slower, more deliberate. It's like you're bringing people in to your story.
I'm a man with deep emotion.
Yes, I was invested, Shaq.
Oh, you know, yeah.
I was running to the middle of the field with you. When you were running, I was running.
I was looking for
Looking out
Dwight.
for the
I was
ropes.
looking for Russell. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Shaq, I'm worried about you, man. I'm worried about you, Shaq, man. What's going on, man, on that side, man? I am telling you, my brother. I'm telling you, man. I think it's the cold weather that's already happening on your side. It makes you think different.
Oh, Mario, let me start with you here. Do you feel like you decided to retire or were told to retire by your body or the game itself?
I think the best thing I could have done is that I told myself to retire. I wanted to stop when I was 33 years old. I was in Qatar and I looked and I was like, I wanted to have done everything that I wanted, not have won everything that I wanted, but have done everything. So played for your country, played Champions League, played in the countries where you wanted to perform, and won certain trophies, of course. And I think when I did that, I said to myself, now I want to go and live a different life. And clearly, my life was with Ali Shaka. Casey, so good.
Oh, we love having you on. We love having you as part of the team, Mario. Guys, same question.
I'm going to say the game in that, well, it wasn't necessarily injuries.
Tell the truth. Tell what was the moment that you decided to retire, Shaq. Tell them. Tell the world.
Yeah.
Tell them.
What was it?
When I scored on you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know, it's time.
Like I say, it was the game.
Love it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
Where was I?
well,
So, well, I said the game because I didn't have any major injuries. I was struggling with a back injury back in my career, but you know, otherwise I was fit. Just when Ali's scoring on you, you realize this is
I know.
time. Yeah, it's time.
I know.
Time to buy a tractor.
That's when you know.
Try to buy a tractor, invest in some acreage, and become a farmer. That was it.
Oh, okay.
Casey?
I was very fortunate. I was able to come back, home, be part of the Sounders when it started, and then I played 3 seasons, and I was kind of looking at the calendar, and they were asking me if I was going to play another year, and I'm thinking I'm 2 weeks from my 42nd birthday, and going, I always wanted to be able to retire when people were saying, "You sure you don't want to play one more year?" as opposed to saying, "Why are you playing one more year?" Yeah. And I really felt that it was a good time. And most players get retired. Most players don't have the ability to retire themselves, and I just thought it was perfect timing.
Ali, didn't you give it all up for us?
That is correct. That is accurate. Well, to be honest,
You gave it up for love.
Well, yes, I did. I'll tell you what was happening, to be honest. I was at Chivas USA at the time. That's, if you need to know anything about Chivas USA, the team no longer exists. So that's where dreams go to die.
Or
And careers go to die.
Retired Chivas USA
I
too?
retired
So
Chivas
me and
USA.
Chivas have a lot
Yes.
in common.
And so I was in between contract with MLS at the time, and I was negotiating a new contract and what have you, but I needed to find a new team because I did not want to be at Chivas USA. And in the middle of all that, ESPN put an offer on the table and said, well, we don't know what you're going to do with your playing career, but this is what we can do for you, and this is what we're willing to offer. And at that point, I looked at it and go, well, that's much better than whatever else I was gonna do. But it's still difficult to tell yourself that it's over.
Yeah.
Ali,
However,
oh
the
my God.
offer, I looked at it and said, it gives me an opportunity to jumpstart the next phase of my life. it gives me an opportunity. My kids were getting older at the time, so I wanted to stop the moving and the coming and the going. I wanted them to have a place that they could call home and a school they could call their school and a set of friends and all of that. So I wanted stability for the family, stability for me. And I said, ESPN, here we go. That's it, baby. And I've been here more than a decade now, which is amazing to me.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Thank you. Shaq. Well, it's not my anniversary, but thank you.
Well, you know,
I hear you.
Something like that.
You know, thank you, Shaq. I appreciate that.
Something like that. I told you I've been emotional. I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah, I know.
Kate, Kate, I have a question. Which one do you thought was the most emotional one? Because Eddie went quite far. He went quite far. So was it Eddie or Shaka who was winning the emotional contest? Because I think Eddie was winning this one with his family when he was talking. He got emotional.
But then Alex scoring on you has got to be an emotional moment.
Yeah,
It was.
not for the right reasons, but
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Okay.
It took years of therapy. Years of therapy.
But you did well tonight, Shaka. You discussed it in front of the world.
Yeah,
Well
I know.
done.
See, you're
Closure, I
You're
think
stronger
is the
now.
phrase. Closure.
I'm not sure it's closure. It's progress. The therapist would call it growth.
All right, that's
Growth.
Just one thing for Mario, as I was going more emotional or deeper in the emotion in talking about my family as such, it's not so much what I said, Mario, it's as much as how you say it. That's what my wife tells me all the time. And that's what Shaka gave us. He gave us depth in the way that he addressed his emotional well-being.
Okay.
Last question. Since Craig and Stevie are not on the show, be honest.
We're laughing and smiling.
Are we all rooting for Scotland tomorrow? Casey?
I'm going to basically echo Craig. I'm not playing. I'm not invested. What do I have to do? with-
I don't care.
What do I have to do with Scotland? Look, I mean, I think it's a good story. I mean, obviously, I have nothing against Denmark if Denmark qualify and win the game or draw the game. But I think what Hampden is going to be like tomorrow would be fun to be there as a neutral and just soak that in. So
Yeah, so.
I could care less.
But you sold it really well.
Thank you.
That was a
Mario.
KMI moment all over again.
Mr. Scotland, Mario
Mario,
Melchior.
can you root for Scotland tomorrow
For
for the
me-
boys?
For me, I want to see the smile of Stevie, and Craig, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, he will still have the same reaction. But Stevie, I want to see smile, so I give his country, yes, I would love to see them win.
For sake of accuracy and clarity, you're saying that Craig is not going to be smiling. that regardless.
Hey, it doesn't matter. If
Yes.
they win or lose, he's
Yeah,
the same.
Correct. I'm just wanting to make
Regardless.
sure that. What do you think?
I'm
Shaq?
going to Scotland. I think that's a nice story. I like Scotland.
I like Stevie.
Yeah.
I like Scotland. I like to see Stevie happy.
Yeah, we are.
I'm going to pick Denmark.
Yes.
I'm back in Scotland. Come on, you Scotland.
Well, we are going to find out. Make sure to join us tomorrow.
Oh,
They
my
will
God.
both be on the show tomorrow, both Stevie and Craig.
We need
See if
Don. We
Scotland
need Don
can
to
do it.
finish off the full.
You need Don. Make sure to join us. Maybe he'll make an appearance.
Do we need Don?
We need Don. Just go with it.